Hi everyone, so just a quick update on my work placement flower model. So as you can see again, further petals have been added, and again I've had quite a few productive weeks since the last video, and I feel like although I've only added 5 qualities to the flower, I've really developed all the other qualities to really nail my development, and feel like I've really changed as a coach in a positive way. And I've also experienced quite a few issues within my placement that have taught me quite a few lessons as well. So the first quality that I feel like I've improved on over the past few weeks is stress. So because coaches are required to take on a lot of responsibilities and roles within their place in an organisation, they're vulnerable to a lot of stresses. So it's really important that coaches understand how to deal with these stresses effectively, and understand as well the impact that stress can have on sport coaches. Also, a stress coach can affect their athletes too, so it's important again that coaches understand how to deal with stress to make sure that their athletes aren't affected. I've had quite a few stressful situations in the past few weeks within my placement, and therefore I've had to very quickly learn the most efficient ways of dealing with it, and I've done this by just conquering it head on, and also talking to the other coaches within the organisation on how they would best deal with this stress. The next quality is motivation. So I've experienced obviously all the ins and outs of motivation as an athlete, and obviously I know it's a big part of the sporting industry. However, I did want to develop this as a coach, and how I motivate my athletes and other coaches, but also keep myself motivated as well. With having quite a few competitions recently within my placement, it's been a big part of my coaching role to motivate the athletes to really perform to the best of their ability within these competitions, and I feel like I've done a really good job, and therefore that's why motivation is on this flower, because I feel like I've really developed that quality in me as a coach. The next quality is vision. So I think vision is really important as a coach, because vision-based coaching is looking into the future and getting excited about it and portraying that presenting that to the the athletes within the organisation, and getting them to think in the same way you do as a coach. So looking further down the line, what are you aiming towards, and what can the work you're doing now, so things such as fitness that can become boring and tedious, how will this help the athletes further down the line? And it's really important, I think, as a coach to be able to do that. It's something that I had very little experience on before beginning my placement, but again, with a lot of competitions that have been coming up throughout my placement, I've had to really push the athletes to think about where they want to be in the long run, how they want to be performing, things like that. The fourth quality I've improved over the past few weeks at placement is social groups. So as an athlete, I experience this quite a lot, especially towards my final years of university, as I played on a college and university team. I found that I was the oldest player on the team, and it was quite hard to fit in with the younger players. So obviously I've experienced it as a player, but I had very little experience on how to deal with it as a coach, and how to get the players especially of different ages, moulding together. And I've noticed this in the organisation I'm coaching at the minute. They have a big variety of ages all working together. So it's actually quite a bit of a challenge to get these players working together effectively and really bonding as a team. So I did this by just talking to the coaches, asking their advice and their opinions on it. They're really experienced in this area, so it was really easy for me to trust what they were saying, understand what they were saying, and really portray that in my coaching. And they both noticed a difference in my coaching, and also in the way that the athletes were being with each other. And I noticed a big difference as well. So I feel like I've really developed in that area, but I think I can still further improve it the more coaching experience I gain. And the final quality is mistake. So it's important to make mistakes, and I think that's very overlooked within the sporting industry, because as soon as someone makes mistakes, it's always seen as negative. But a lot of lessons can be learned from making mistakes, and especially as a coach as well, it's not always going to be success after success. So it's important to learn from the mistakes rather than dwell on them. And I think as well that's really important to portray to the athletes. And yeah, so within my placement, I've really been focusing on telling the athletes not to be disappointed in mistakes and actually see them as a positive rather than a negative, and make them understand that it is common for everyone to look at them negatively when really we should be learning from them and thinking how we can progress from them and develop from them. And for me as a coach, I've made mistakes in the past, but I've learnt from them and moved on from them in a positive way, and I don't think I would be the coach I am now if I hadn't have made those mistakes. So that's how I've been portraying them to my athletes, and which is why mistakes is on this flower.